All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So the 1-0 New York Jets are going down to Dallas to take on the 1-0 Cowboys, and I really feel like the biggest storyline from this game, heading into this game, how does the New York Jets offense look without their prized acquisition, Aaron Rodgers here? It's obviously going to be Zach Wilson starting, and there's a lot of people that have confidence. There's a lot of people that don't have confidence in Zach. So I think really that's the biggest question mark. We all know, I mean, this is 2023 NFL football. It's rare to see teams excel with bad quarterback play. It's just, again, in this day and age, it's just hard to come by. So I think really the big question here, can Zach Wilson do enough at the quarterback position this Sunday? I believe it's a 4:25 kickoff, going up against a loaded Dallas Cowboy team, a well-coached Dallas Cowboy team. That's really the key. You know, if we see a performance like Daniel Jones had the other night against the Dallas Cowboy defense, it might be, a bright future might be bleak. But if Zach can go out there, handle business, check it down, he's not getting confused out there, he's not making, dumb decisions with the football, he's taking care of it, he's really being the point guard, just distributing Allen Lazard and Garrett Wilson, the trifecta that the Jets have at the tight end position there. He's handing the football off to Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook. And of course, he has that defense to fall back on here. Now, when we take a look at this Dallas Cowboys team, at least for me, I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, when I think about the Cowboys, I think about the defense. I understand that they have weapons on offense. It's not a bad offense, right? I get that. But again, when I think of Dallas, I think of Dan Quinn. I think of Trevon Diggs. I think of Michael Parsons. I think of Stephon Gilmore now at corner. This is a defense that's well coached. It's experienced. They have athleticism, they have explosion, they have talent at all three levels, the defensive line, the linebackers, and the secondary. It's a defense that we saw them just absolutely feast on the New York Giants. That literally looked like the Giants were playing all backups. Right? Daniel Jones was confused. He was under duress all day. The Dallas Cowboy defense had 7 sacks on Daniel Jones. Jones on the day he threw for 104 yards with 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. I felt like even in plays where Daniel Jones wasn't getting sacked, he was picking himself up off of the turf. And it was just rough. You look at some of the defensive back play, Sunday night. I mean, these guys, the safeties and corners, these guys looked stronger. They looked smarter. They looked like they were, they had a step on any single member of the Giants offense all night. Like, these guys were making plays on the football. They were confusing Daniel Jones. I mean, it was just like that defensive performance was the definition of a dominant night. That is everything that you want from a defense. You can get after the quarterback. You're making his life miserable. You're turning the football over. You're keeping him out of the red zone. You're literally putting a goose egg up on the board. 0 points, 40-0. It was a beatdown. So with that said, I think for me, the matchup of the game is the Jets offensive line going up against the Dallas Cowboys defensive line. I feel fantastic about this Jets roster. Or should I say, like 95% of this Jets roster, right? You want to throw out random positions, linebacker, awesome. Defensive line, pass rushers, great. Corners, safeties, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. Like, I feel interior offensive line play, I feel really, really good about. My only 2 concerns, my only 2 gripes with this Jets team, quarterback play and pass protection. And what's ironic, to have effective, consistent quarterback play, you need effective, consistent pass protection. And I really feel Hackett, Saleh, these guys, they have to get together this week and come up with a plan. How do we try to neutralize this Dallas Cowboys pass rush? If we roll out against the Cowboys and look the same exact way like we did against the Buffalo Bills, and granted, the Bills have a good defense. They have tons of talent. Ed Oliver, Greg Russo was doing his thing, Leonard Floyd off the edge. It's a good defense. I understand that. But we cannot go down to Dallas and look like that. We need to protect Zach Wilson, right? He was sacked multiple times against the Bills. We can talk about, the Aaron Rodgers injury, him going down. I believe it was Leonard Floyd on that tackle, but even the previous couple of passing attempts, he was also hit. push sacks aside for a second. Just look at overall quarterback hits for the Buffalo Bills. I mean, they were really getting home. With an extra game and week of experience here, will the pass protection look a little bit more sound? Will the Jets offensive coaching staff maybe prioritize that in the game week here, game week of preparation, understanding that, hey, if we have to bring in run two tight end sets, if we have to really make sure that the running backs know where to pick up blitzes and whatnot, know where to help, then I'm all for it. That's what needs to be done, because if Zach Wilson can only go as far as the offensive line will allow him to go, it's if he could get the protection, it's up to Zach from there. But if he's running for his life, if he's under duress, if he's, having to elude pressure, escape pockets, especially early in the game, I'm not going to be pleased. So I really want to see some protection here up front. Now, as far as the offense goes, because we are looking at Zach as the starter, because we are looking at pass protection potentially being the biggest weak point of the offense, I am really trying to feed the running backs. I don't care if Dallas knows. That's my mindset here. Breece Hall is one of the best running backs in the entire National Football League. Behind him, we have Dalvin Cook, who is an RB1. I think when you compare run blocking from the Jets to pass protection, and I understand it's just a 1-game sample size here. The run blocking looked a lot more effortless. It looked a lot more seamless. They were having a lot more success. It didn't look as confusing. It didn't look as sluggish, right, when you compare those two facets of offensive line play. So I think for me, I am going in there with the understanding we are going to pound the football. We are going to run the rock. We are going to feed Breece Hall. We're going to feed Dalvin Cook. We're going to feed Michael Carter. Get these guys involved in the passing game as well. All three backs can hurt defenses in the pass game. Whether it's a design screen, whether it's a check down, football in these running backs' hands, yeah, they can make noise. So that's my plan of attack. When Zach Wilson does have to throw the football, I want to see a lot of play action. I want to see a lot of passes over the middle of the field. I feel like once we can get guys like Lazard and Wilson working over the middle of the field, especially in the play action game, things we could see some success there. Defensively, though, what do we need to do to stop Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard, again, a loaded Cowboys offense? I think the big thing for me, we have to get after Dak Prescott. We have to make his life difficult, whether it's confusing him on the back end, whether it's speeding up his internal clock in his head, right? If he's thinking, okay, I'm going to get hit. I have to deliver a football maybe a little bit early. I have to leave the pocket now a little bit early. I think that's really where we want to get Dak. If we look at his stats from the Giants game, he was only 13 of 24 with a completion percentage of 54.2%. No touchdown passes as well. We do have to understand that that game was played in heavy rain, and Dallas was up so early on the Giants. I believe they started out 16-0, and then at halftime I believe they went into halftime 26-0. So really, what's the need to rely on the passing game? What's the need to push the ball down the field in inclement weather? There really isn't any. So from a numbers perspective, yeah, Dak wasn't all that impressive, but I do feel like he does have a couple of excuses in his back pocket on why he didn't really need to put up these great numbers. For me, I think the most important stat that the Cowboys were able to roll out there offensively, it was the fact that Prescott got sacked 0 times. He was throwing from a clean pocket virtually all night. He wasn't really under that much duress. Now, we have seen Dak Prescott throw a lot of interceptions from clean pockets, specifically last season. He did lead the NFL in INTs. Were they all his fault? No, but there were a couple that it was just like, man, what's going on here? You weren't under duress. It wasn't like a horrible, last minute hero ball type of decisions, like kind of what we saw from Josh Allen against the Jets Sunday night. Just bad balls. Bad footballs, bad decisions to throw passes last season. And again, the INT stat really reflected that a year ago. So again, when we look at that Giants defense, understanding that it was Wink Martindale calling the defense, known for bringing an aggressive mindset, and you look at the personnel, they have pass rushers on that defense, and they were able to keep Dak upright. That to me was really impressive. So if the Jets, a defense known for getting after quarterbacks here, and by the way, Carl Lawson should be active according to Robert Saleh. If this defense can get after Dak the way they did Josh Allen, or even just more than they got after, than the Giants got after Dak in the first place, and again, force him to make ill-advised passes down the field, force him to throw passes early, potentially knock his, really knock him around early in the game to where he is thinking about getting hit later on. Dak to me has always been a guy who can handle adversity, but I do feel like with the Jets pass rush, that is the key to victory defensively. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I can't wait for the game. Thanks so much, and as always, go Jets.